Welcome to the Rise and Rise of the Perimenopausal Princess with Jade Sterling. I'm your host, Jade Sterling, a perimenopausal woman who once found herself sitting in her car wondering what the purpose of life even was, at a time where it felt like that there was a mist over my body, mind, and spirit. The world was telling me that perimenopause had arrived and I was expected to surrender the next 10 years or so to survival, to ride the wave, to just get through it. But as a Generation X warrior, I knew there had to be another way. So I went searching for something to believe in, for something, anything to feel better. What I found was a compass, a map, and a process. Now I'm here to lead others out of the mist, out of the silence of the patriarchy, and into the highest level of personal power available to us. A portal into a version of yourself that you may not even know exists yet. With my experience as a women's health nurse, coach, and almost 5 decades of life as a human being, I'm honored to be your guide on this journey. Be prepared to feel inspired, empowered, reawakened as I guide you out of the mist and into the next most powerful chapter of your life. Join me as we explore the stories, secrets, and strategies to help you reclaim your power, purpose, and peace in perimenopause. Hi there, and welcome to episode 3 of the Rise and Rise of the Perimenopausal Princess with Jade Sterling. I'm your host, Jade Sterling, and you've landed in creation mode. We have been looking at the journey of the rise of the woman in perimenopause through the eyes of a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual circuit that I have created, a fitness workout for your mind, your body, and your soul called the Positive Energy Circuit. I have been actually walking through this process publicly on my social media channel, where I declared that I was going to make $10,000 by the 30th of October 2025 as a symbol of power in today's society to elevate myself as a perimenopausal woman out of victimhood, which is the current narrative in today's society, and launch into the best version of myself that I could be. And because money for me is a particular issue that brings up a lot of mental, emotional, physical sensations in my body, then I decided then that was the one I was going to tackle. So I've openly put it out there that I'm going to make this money by the 30th of October 2025. It's now the 15th of October 2025. And look, you have to follow me on social media to look at the micro moments of my journey to see where I'm at. But the big reveal will be at the end, of course, of the 6-week step and process of the positive energy circuit that I'm taking myself through in order to achieve my goal. And my goal is to help all women, but particularly women in their midlife, because that's where I'm at right now. And it was a different kind of challenge physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially when I got to the age of 40. And now at the age of 47, I feel like I have learnt a lot. I have managed to tap into tools, resources, energy that has shifted my entire being. And I'm, of course, wanting to shout this from the rooftops and share this with as many women as possible. So here I am. And in the first episode, we talked about setting your intention as your first step to achieving any goal, whatever that might be in your life. The second step is evaluation, knowing that your brain is just like a GPS. It needs to know where you are in space and time before it can take you to where you want to go. So knowing where you are, evaluating where you are, is the key to be able to create awareness of your thoughts, and knowing that your thoughts then go on to create how you're feeling. Then your feelings tell your body what to do, and your actions actually create what you experience in your daily life. So we're at step 3 here, where we launch into creation mode, where we are actually looking at the destination. Where do we want to go? And how do we want to feel when we get there? Because let's be honest, folks, the only thing that drives us as human beings really to want anything in our lives is because of the way it makes us feel on the inside. So when I'm trying to support myself and other women to experience peace, to feel better, to choose freedom, and most importantly, to achieve their goals, the first thing, that's not true, the third thing we have to do, once we've set our intention, once we've looked at where we are, the third thing we need to do is know how it is we want to feel when we get to our goal. So for me, I set a financial goal this time, $10,000. How is that going to make me feel? And when I settle into that, I realize that it's a feeling of ease. It's a feeling of peace. It's a deep feeling of gratitude. Gratitude for everything that I have. I have been swimming in the world of lack of late. I've shared some of my stories in recent episodes, but it has been a point of time in my life where even though I was working, and I am working as a nurse and a coach, and being at a certain point of time for myself, I feel like if I look back at myself a year ago, I would hardly even recognize her. She's come so far. But there was still a point where I felt like I didn't really have what I need. Recently, I felt like I didn't really have the time I needed to do everything I wanted to do. I didn't really have the money, didn't really have the resources. I didn't really have the energy, most importantly, to get done everything that I wanted to do. That thought is coming from lack. It's coming from a disconnection of abundance. And so, of course, I'm going to feel that in my finances because I feel like I don't have what I need. And then I decided that I was going to settle into the process of feeling that abundance. But that for me stems from a deeper feeling of peace, ease, and gratitude. Gratitude that I know that I have everything that I need. Certainty, that's another word that pops up for me when I'm looking at how I'm trying to feel, what my money goal is going to give me in the end. Certainty, calm, gratitude. And the whole process of this is why and how can we feel those feelings in advance before the goal and the end result even shows up. And that's what it's all about. This week I've been looking at the difference between men and women and the way that they operate in the world and how women are so completely different to men. The reality is we live in a man's world. I'm not going to spend too much time looking at the holes in our patriarchal system. That is the framework in which women live on a day-to-day basis. But there are holes, and it is an essence of masculine energy that has created a void for women to lose their feminine energy out through these holes in the fabric of society right now. Men's energy is to do, is to be productive, is to create and construct, but in a much more physical, active, doing kind of way. Women are not the opposite of that, but they work from within. I would like to not say it's the opposite because it's more of a compliment. They are like two ends of a magnet that when they come together, they actually complement each other so perfectly that the process of working inward from a place of being matched with the outward energy and the activities of doing make a perfect match for men and women to help support each other to evolve and grow and move forward into the best version of ourselves that there possibly can. And I really love, even just this morning in my meditation, every morning I read a little excerpt from my yoga teacher, Paramahansa Yogananda. And he was talking about how evolution is actually not really getting better. It's not really improving. We can look at it that way because it feels on the inside like we are moving forward. But what we really are doing is peeling away layers of an onion. As a soul, we are perfect and we are perfectly connected to the bigger source of something that's greater than us. I like to talk to my kids about it like the universe or God or peace or the source or whatever you want to call it is a giant light bulb, and we are rays of the light bulb that are connected to the greater light, but are also our own individualized piece of that. And I think this is something that we need to think about more and more, because if we think that this is just, we are what we see, we are just this physical body and we're not connected to something greater than what we are. First of all, I think that's very egotistical as a human being to think that we are the only source of power that has the power in individualized pieces. And that actually doesn't help us to connect with others and cooperate for a greater good. But for our own individual way and journey to move forward, to be able to know that you can take a load off, that the responsibility is not 100% wholeheartedly, solely, only with you at this point in time in your life. And that should be able to give you an element of peace and relief and trust that you are being held by something bigger than you. But then you have the ability to hold visions, goals, energies, projects, feelings, emotions that are greater than you too. You have the capacity to do so. That then will help you expand into the bigger source, the greater light of the light bulb, if you will. So I hope this is inspiring for you to set goals and know that you can achieve them no matter how big they are. And really knowing your destination is to try and get to a feeling. But remember, when I say those words, we're trying to get somewhere. It's obviously not in the trying to get somewhere. We're just peeling the layers to get back to the essence of who we already are. The feelings that are already there for us to connect to, tap into and experience, which is the whole purpose of being a human being. And so before too, when I was talking about men and women, now there are different ways that that can exist, particularly in our day and age. There's different karmic paths, I think, for people. There's also different prenatal, postnatal, and I'm talking energetically here in ways that this might show up. So I'm not talking about necessarily men as a gender and women as a gender, although it depends on your idea of your own process of creation and how we started and how we got here. But I think in terms of energy, we're looking at a masculine energy, which is doing, which is productivity, which is reason, which is discrimination, and a female feminine type energy, which is feeling, which is being, which is magnetic. The two become an amazing magnet to create amazing things. But it's those energies. So even when people talk to me about God and they say, God's not a man, it's not a him, it's not a he, I think that if we open our minds and we drop the actual title and a construct of gender, it's an energy, masculine and feminine energy, not necessarily male and female in terms of gender and gender roles. Can we just soften that and let our minds open to that just a little bit? I would like to invite you to do so today. And so the essence of creation is not forcing things to happen, and it's not in the action, even though we need action. But it starts with the feminine energy of being. And this has been my experience in my $10,000 experiment. The more that I soften and I actually focus more on how I feel and less of what I'm doing to create money. If I'm looking at and I'm trying every day, the end of my morning meditation, I ask myself, how am I feeling this morning? And I have to be honest. And then I ask myself, is this serving the person that I'm trying to become? If the answer is yes, then I breathe into it. If I feel peace and calm, and if I feel the gratitude, then breathe into it, let it grow. If not, like yesterday when I was feeling a little bit agitated, feeling impatient, feeling a little bit on edge, if that's not really serving the person that I'm trying to become, which is a person that's coming from certainty, calm, and gratitude, then I just reframe. Exhale, release. Inhale. Inhale into the certainty, exhaling out the gratitude, and taking a moment to connect with the feelings that I'm trying to feel. Now, sometimes that can be really simple. It's just a process of going, am I feeling it? No. Let's feel it. Inhale, exhale. Cool. Let's move on with the day. But there are some times where it's like, nah, I'm feeling very frustrated. I'm feeling very agitated. I'm feeling that. Sometimes when you have a goal, the evidence doesn't show up in your life outside of yourself quick enough for you to feel that you're making progress. That shouldn't be discouraging because it's not about the physical evidence. Because sometimes it's about creating the vibration and the world just hasn't caught up yet. So at this point, I use what I call the flip tool, the flip method that you might have heard me talk about before if you've been with me for a while. And I'll just very briefly touch on that today. It is a way of being able to activate your brain to be on your side, to create, to soften and dial down your whole nervous system to be open to gratitude. That helps you to be and access the feelings that you are trying to be without the trying part involved. It's just really peeling off one of the layers of the onion. So the flip was created by Kevin Clayson, who's an incredible individual. Look him up. He wrote a book called Flip the Gratitude Switch. How to flip the gratitude switch. So flip is actually an acronym. F stands for finding the frustration. And we'll start there. The frustration for me was, what is it that's frustrating me right now? Looking for the feeling. And it might not necessarily be frustration. Find the feeling that is causing you discomfort, that is causing you agitation, that is causing you to feel disharmonious with how you want to be aligned. For me, I was feeling frustrated. I was feeling impatient and agitated. So find the source of that, and the source of that will be found inside a thought. And for me, the thought was, where's my money? It's the 14th of October, where's my money? Now, again, if you've been following me on social media, you see that I have actually done a little bit of auditing of the evidence, and the money's coming in and the opportunities and the experience have been coming in. But for me, I feel like it's not been happening quick enough. Although I set this goal, I'm in week 3, right? So I said, I'm in week 3. I'm actually doing this. This is not happening in real time here for you. It's happening in real time on social media. So there's a little bit of a lag. So you'll be able to be with me in the journey as we come to the great crescendo at the end of 30th of October 2025. But at this stage, I was feeling like we're coming to the end of the journey and I wanted to be able to move quicker. But as I said, really the journey only started a few weeks ago now. So if I look back at myself 12 months ago, I would have been spending an awful lot of time and energy trying to create what I've just created in 3 weeks. But when you start getting good at creating and manifesting awesome things in your life, it's just kind of like lifting weights, right? You start lifting 10 kilo weights and it's like, oh my God, this is not only like painful and torture. It's really, really hard, and I don't necessarily enjoy doing it, but I know I'm going to love the muscle and the strength and the body that I'm going to have at the end. It's just the same when we're working with the positive energy circuit with our mind. It's like sometimes it can be painful, sometimes it can be really tough and hard and a struggle, and it feels like torture, but you know that the benefits are coming, and you know that you're going to love the results in the end, so you push through. So now I guess I'm trying to pick up 50 kilo weight. I don't feel like that's a really realistic analogy to make a comparison to, because I don't even weigh 50 kilos. But look, my 13-year-old son does, and I was kind of able to pick him up the other day, lift his feet off the ground a little bit anyway. So back to where we are in creating our feelings and flipping the gratitude switch. Find the frustration. For me, it was the thought that I still don't have what I need, or I still don't have the speed. So I found something new to find in lack. Speed. There's a lack of speed. L in the flip acronym is to look for what is good about that. We look for anything that could possibly be good about the thing that we're really cranky about. And it has to be something you're really grateful for in that hard thing. Because if you're not really, if you're like, oh, well, it's good that I don't just have what I need because it's good for me. Like, it's good that I don't just have the chocolate in the fridge because otherwise I'd just binge on it, right? It's good that I don't have $10,000 in my bank account, so just spend it, right? So, but my brain doesn't really believe either of those things. I really wish there was chocolate in the fridge right now. Brain doesn't believe it, and so your energy is not going to believe it. So you're not going to create the magnetic force that you need to bring in what you're trying to attract, as well as feel the feelings that you're trying to generate within your body. So it's got to be something your brain believes. So in this case, I was able to say, well, the longer that it takes to get here is actually good for me, because what I am trying to generate is a different way of being. And you have to be that more and more to be able to achieve what you're trying to. And for me, the speed comes with being, holding that state of being all the time. So the longer it takes for me to get there, the more I have to hold the state of being calm and being grateful and being certain. And that creates a speed. You know, what's the Navy SEAL saying? Smooth is fast, and smooth is slow, and slow is fast. I think that's the saying. I have to go look it up now. Go look it up and put it in the comments and tell me exactly what it is. But if we want speed, we actually need to focus on smooth. Smooth is slow, and slow creates fast. That's not the saying, but I know someone's going to tell me exactly what it is and remind me that that's what it is. Smooth creates a stillness that then propels you forward faster. So, on the back of that, find the frustration or the feeling that's keeping you out of alignment with how you want to feel. Look for what is good about that. Kevin says awesome. Look for what is awesome. But when I'm in a funk and when I'm feeling particularly cranky, there's nothing awesome I can find. I just need to look for what is good. Eventually we can look for what is awesome, and that becomes easier. But when we're feeling particularly negative, just looking for something that's good about that, something you can be grateful for. Then the I is to put I am and inquire what that is and how you can create an affirmation around that your brain believes. So I am grateful for the slowness to help with the smoothness that will eventually help to be fast. Creating an affirmation in that way that your brain actually believes will then take you into P, which is to power up the gratitude. Pivot into gratitude by saying that affirmation over and over and over again until your brain actually believes it. And so in my case, it was, I am grateful for the slowness. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Is that it? Did I nail it? Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I think that's it. So for me, if I say that over and over and over and over again in my head, then I will find that place of peace and calm and stillness, certainty and gratitude that will then help me propel me into then finding the next action towards my goal. So that is the flip method for you to keep an eye on. Definitely write that down. Make sure that you practice it. You will find it changes your brain. And then your brain is the one telling your body what to do. And then how you show up is amazing. But from that place, and this is taking me back to when I was talking about the difference between masculine and feminine energy, is that for women, they actually can much easier find that state of being within themselves. And from the state of being and feeling and accessing their feelings, their energy becomes magnets for what they're trying to create. And in this case, after I finished my morning meditation, I received a phone call, which I didn't answer because it was 6 o'clock in the morning, but they left a message and I thought, who's calling me at 6 o'clock in the morning? It was an international number. It said Idaho from the US. So I let it ring and then someone left a message on my phone, I'm not joking, saying, hi, my name is, can't remember right now, nothing particularly that I had signed up for at this particular place in time, but we're wondering how much money you want to make today. We're wondering how much money that you want to make in your business by the end of the month, and we'd like to help you. I'm going to send you an email with some information on how you can get in touch with me and my team. We'd love to chat to you about where you're going with your business. And I'm like, what? So when you actually shift your energy into the feeling and the being, you create yourself to be so much more of a magnet. There's less and less you have to do. And it just comes to you. Now, I received this email. I've reached out to these people. Who knows whether they're the answer to speeding up the process of where I'm going right now with bringing in the money. But you know what I have achieved? I've achieved calm. I've achieved ease. I've achieved gratitude. I've achieved it already. Does that mean that I've actually achieved my goal? Kind of, yeah. But also kind of no. Because I want to expand, right? I actually want to create concrete results that I can see at this time of my life, because I feel like this is a great platform to then help propel me forward to really look at other ways I can expand and help you to do the same. So has this been hopefully softening and opening and settling into you as a woman? You could be watching this as a man too and having the realization of what might be more prominent for you right now. Are you focused on the action? Are you focused in the masculine energy and the doing? And if it's not working, you're missing this component of the being, of the feeling, to be able to bring it into alignment, to draw into your life that in which you are seeking right now. And one of the other things that I've definitely learned throughout this process is that it's not about control. Even though I want to talk about that next week, there are 10 things I say to myself every single day that help me to realize that I am in control of my life. And even though I'm a part of a greater light that is holding me, I still have autonomy, I still have free will, and I still have the ability to create and launch into creation mode. The next step will be looking at our nervous system and how we can actually bring it all into play. But as I'm a part of the greater light bulb, I have control. And yet control is not really what we're seeking. Control is an element that I think I'm going to really unpack next week. But right now, it's not what I need to be doing. Controlling is not what I need to be doing. What I need to be doing is softening into the process of being and softening into the integration of the doing that I've been doing my whole life, integrating the feeling of how I am being, that then is going to tell my body what to do. and launch me into the next stage and bring my goals even closer to me. Oh, I just got goosebumps. I'm so excited for what is to come. And we're only really, we're just a bit more than halfway there. That's all I have for you today. I hope that wherever you are right now, you can take a nice deep inhale in through your nose, like you're smelling your most favorite scented flower. For me, the bush gardenias have just flowered outside my window. And I'm going to inhale and smell it. And that really fills my heart in some ways. That's effortless. That's an effortless way to be able to help me feel the feelings that I'm trying to feel right now. Inhale in through the nose. I got carried away. And exhale out through the mouth like you're blowing out a birthday candle. Just actually does help to blow off that extra carbon dioxide. Helps to soften the nervous system. Helps you to fall into your body with peace, acceptance, and relief. And I want you to go out there and have a beautiful rest of your day or your evening or what is next for you right now. Own your path and create your peace. And I will see you in the next episode. And that's a wrap on this episode of The Rise and Rise of the Perimenopausal Princess with Jade Sterling. I'm your host, Jade Sterling. If this episode landed, resonated, or even cracked something open inside you, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a fellow midlife warrior. If you're ready to dive deeper and join me on this quest towards power, purpose, and peace in perimenopause, check out the show notes and get your free Positive Energy Circuit mini power session, your map out of the mist and into the next version of you. Until next time, I'm Jade Sterling, and this is The Rise and Rise of the Perimenopausal Princess with Jade Sterling.